Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Welcome to another card making day here in Simcoe, Ontario. Beautiful day here today, really hot. If I look slightly red, it's because I was out in the sun yesterday at the soccer tournament all day. I'm an independent Stampin' Up dealer here in Simcoe, and if you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So welcome everybody. We've got a beautiful new suite of products today, and a suite just means that if you look at it in the catalogue or you look at it online, you can punch in one number and you can purchase the whole thing together: the stamps, the dies, the DSP, the embellishments. Okay, that's all a suite means. A bundle just means you buy the stamps and dies together. If you buy the bundle together, you get a 10% discount, which is a good saving on a lot of things. When you buy the suite, your 10% is still included in there, but it's still only the 10% off the stamps and dies. Okay, you still pay full price for the DSP and the embellishments. So the suite we're going to use today is excuse me, called the Horse and Sleigh. That's the name of the stamp set. The whole suite is called One Horse Open Sleigh. It's exactly $100 Canadian in the online. Now this can only be ordered online, so you either need to contact me to order it or you go online and order it. In the suite you get the stamp set, which of course Horse and Sleigh, some sentiments, some trees, a snow hare we're calling him, some footprints or a little splatter stamp. You get the dies. You've got some snow dies, some trees, the hare, the sleigh to cut out, the rails for the sleigh, nice dies. You get the gems, which are snowflake gems. There is a white, a basic white, there's a gold, and there's a copper clay, I think it's called, copper clay, and you get small, medium and large snowflakes. You also get this beautiful DSP. You get 48 sheets of 6x6 DSP, and every one is a scene that you can use. And I'm just going to quickly show you the scene and turn it over so you can see the backs as well. The backs are not solid but patterned papers, and they're all beautiful colours. There's a deer, beautiful snowflake scene, lovely house in the dark, beautiful landscape, another house scene, just a trail through the forest. There's a fox, just another, almost like a little stream, trees by the stream, snow covered trees and a fence, another trail through the forest, and just a large tree. Beautiful papers and beautiful colors, and we're going to use two of these today, so this might be a bit of a longer video. I'm going to try and do 2 cards today, and I think we'll do this one first, so I'm just going to set this one aside in here, and I'll bring out what I've got for this card. Now, I didn't do my cutting of the paper because I want you to be able to see how I cut it and why I cut it, because you want to pick out on a piece of paper like this, you want to pick out the best part for your card. Alright, so you might not want all the trees. A card front here in Canada, DSP, a card front is 5.5 by 4.25, but if you have a border, well then you go down to 5.25 by 4. We are actually going to cut this down to 5 inches by 3.75 inches. So I've got to pick out the best portion that I need. We're also going to stamp the sentiment right on the card itself. So we need 5 inches, and I'm going to take it from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to take the top piece off the card. Yes, I've got the paper in here the wrong way. I want this way to be 5 inches because this is my pattern. So how can I explain this? Okay, I want to use 2.25 inches to decorate my envelope, so I'm going to take 2.25 off the top. So this is where my 3.75 comes in. Okay, So I'm going to have a piece 3 3/4 up to the cut line here. That'll be 3 3/4. Then I'll cut it off at 5. This piece here, which will give me 2 1/4 inches, will decorate my envelope. Alright, so we've got 3 3/4. Hope I'm doing this right. I'm starting to second guess. And then this way I've got 5. Now, I'm going to take part of this tree off because it's a lot of tree, or I could take that piece off. I don't know which to do. I think maybe we're going to flip it around and we're going this way for 5 inches. Just lining it up, 5 inches. So we've got a piece 5 by 3 3/4, which is going to go nicely on the front of the card. This piece we're going to use to decorate the envelope. It's 6 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and it will fit perfectly on the flap of the envelope. We've then got, let me put the cutter out of the way, I think I'm done with that. Right. Then to make the card base, we have a piece of petal pink. Now this is wider. This is not a half sheet of card like I usually use. It's 5.5 by 11 inches. And what I've done is I've scored this at 4 1/4, 5.5, and 6 3/4. So that's 4 1/4, 5.5, 6 3/4. I'm going to fold it towards me for the center fold. Then I'm going to fold the 2 halves back on themselves. There, and there's the other one folded back. So this is what you end up with, a piece like this. Looks like a W. Okay, goes like that. Just going to give it an extra crease down. Okay, there. So that will go this way, like this. Now the first thing I'm going to do is glue this flap closed because it's just going to be a little bit of extra decoration inside the card. So I'm going to look at this. I want it to be held at the end, so I'm turning this around. I've got some Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm just going down there. You could also put an extra little bit to hold it if you want, and then just fold it back on itself like that. Okay, so you've got this nice little card just with an extra little piece in the middle. So the first thing we need to do, because we're going to stamp the sentiment directly on the front of the card, we're going to do the stamping first. And I'm going to use some early espresso ink because that's the color of the trees and it will match nicely. I'm just going to put a piece of paper down here. I don't need the piece of paper yet, but it's there. Okay, so we've got some early espresso, and we have a sentiment stamp somewhere which says, "Wishing you a season of cheer," and that's the stamp that's right in the catalogue, in the stamp set, and we're going to stamp it right here, just like that. So let me get that inked nicely, and then we're going to put the stamp down. "Wishing you a season of cheer." There, nicely. Now while I'm on, I have a piece of white cardstock, which is 5 1/4 by 4, I believe, and it's going on the inside of the card, and on that we're going to stamp "and a happy new year." That's also from the stamp set. Just going to line it up again. "And a happy new year" for the inside. All right, so there we've got it. We'll just close that up. We're finished with this. And I think before I go any further, I'm going to find an extra piece of this cardstock so that I can decorate the inside. I can show you what the inside looks like. What does the back look like? It's that. And I think I'm going to cut just a couple of strips of that just to decorate the inside of this card. So we've got all these pieces together. I think I'm just going to cut a couple of inches off the top of this. Put that out of the way, bring the cutter back. we need a piece that's about 7/8 of an inch. We need two pieces that would be a 7/8 of an inch. So lining this up at 7/8. Let's go there. Another one. 7/8. There, I've got two pieces 7/8. I've still got that nice piece that I can use on another card, but I just wanted to show you what I was going to do with this. And I need to trim these down to about 5¼ inches. I think I'm going to push that up a little bit. So I've got some brown on this end and a little bit of brown on this end. Now I'll line them up at 5¼ and I'm just taking a smidge off there, just a little piece, and that's just going to give me a nice little brown border to help define the piece on the inside. Okay, so let's put this card together. We've got some adhesive, and we've got my little brown pad somewhere. There it is. And I'm using the brown pad because the adhesive won't stick to this, but I want to go right to the edges of this piece of paper so that it is held in place nicely. Okay, and I'm just going to line it up in the middle of here. Let me look at it and see how much I've got. Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch at each end. Just want to make it nice and straight. There's one piece. Second piece, I'm going to turn this over. Let's make it flow. About 1/8 of an inch there. There. And that just decorated the front, the inside of the card. So now we'll pop this on the inside. Yep, nice and dry. Right about there. There. And then for the front we have a piece of early espresso, and it's 5¼ by 4, and then we have the picture, which is 5 by 3¾ Give it a nice little border all the way around. Yep, about 1/8 of an inch again. That. This goes on the front of the card. Again, it works out to 1/8 of an inch all the way around. There you are, you've got one lovely little card made, and we're just going to take the envelope. And we're going to use liquid glue for this. Now when you glue, you use liquid glue on an envelope, don't make sure you have the envelope open, because if you have it like this and you glue it down, you're actually going to glue the envelope shut because the glue will soak through a little bit. So we're going to use liquid glue here. Make sure it's cleaned off. And we're going to glue around the flap of the envelope because we want the glue to go close to the edge, or at least to spread close to the edge when we're finished. Got some trees, which way are the trees going? And we're just going to put this down and line it up against the flap of the envelope. Push it as close as we can to the top without going over. I'm using the fold on the envelope for my guide if I can, because I don't want to have to trim that end if I don't have to. Here we've got that down flat, nice and flat. And we're just going to take some scissors and trim around this, using the edge of the envelope for the guide to cut. Just quickly trim around it. There we go. We could, if we wanted to, stamp something on the outside of the envelope. This one I'm just going to leave plain, and I'm not going to put any embellishments on here, just because I think the snowflakes are a little too big to go on this card. Alright, so there is your card in your envelope. There's one card already done. The second card we're going to do, we have this lovely piece of paper that I'm going to use, and I'm going to make the horse and sleigh into a silhouette on this. I don't have a silhouette stamp. I could punch it out with the die, but I'm just going to show you another way to do it. Where's my horse and sleigh? Here is the horse and sleigh that I punched out. I cut out with the die, and it could go just there like that, just as easily. I'm just going to show you another way to do this if you don't have the die. But if you do have a black marker, I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, my dark black on this, and because when I color this in, the color is going to go through this piece of paper. It's going to soak through. I'm resting this onto a piece of grid paper and to color on. So once again, I'm going to trim this off and decide which part of the card I need to use. For this one, I'm going to go right from the bottom of the card, and I'm going to cut it off again. Again, 5 inches by 3 3/4, because I'm going to mat it and then put it on the front of the card. My Misty Moonlight cardstock, excuse me, is going to be the 5 1/4 by 4. And my card is Smoky Slate, and it's 8 1/2 by 5, scored at 4 1/4. Again, it's going to go like that. Okay, so I need to trim my DSP down. And again, I could cut this off at 2 1/4 and decorate the envelope. I might as well do that. Why not? Paper cutter. Okay, so we've got 3 3/4 going this way, there, and 5 going this way. Now, how do I want to cut this? Do I want to cut this strictly at 5, or do I want to cut the dark blue tree off at each end? I'm thinking I might. So I want this to be 5. So now I've just cut that piece of tree off, and now I'm going to line it up at 5 and cut this piece. So I'll bring in my foam mat again, and my piece of colouring paper that I'm going to use, that I'm just going to rest on, and turn it that way, there, that way. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the stamp in Memento ink this time, because I want a black image. Okay, and because my stamp is big, I'm going to put it face up and press the ink onto the stamp instead of the ink into the instead of the stamp into the ink. That looks like a good image. And when you're using Memento ink, you can press a little harder. You can pound your stamp down, your ink pad down onto your stamp. Okay, so let me bring this in this way. And this stamp is going to go almost right to the ends. I'm bringing it down about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. There. That gives me that. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment right on the front again. So where's my sentiment stamp? Here. And I'm just going to use the sending you a season of cheer, wishing you a season of cheer again. make sure I've got a good inking on there, and I don't, so let me give that a really good press. That's looking better. Okay. And I'm going to stamp this at the top of the card. Just like that. There. Let's stamp the inside of the card while we've got the ink out. I'm just using the same stamps I had. I'm saying and wishing and a happy new year. Going sideways. There, nicely done. Okay, so let's put the ink out of the way. Let's make sure we've got some paper that we're going to work on. We've got this here, and we've got a dark, basic black Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm going to use the brush tip. I'm going to turn it this way. When I colour, I sort of colour away from me. I don't know why. Okay, so we're going to start colouring, and I'm not going right to the edges here, because this marker will bleed just a little bit. There, so I've coloured that. Now, honestly, you could leave it like that. It looks nice with just some little elements coloured in, but I want to make this a whole silhouette, so I am going to just start colouring the whole thing. Oops. And it does take a while to colour. It takes a few minutes, you know, but it's nice and relaxing. I'm going to colour the whole thing. There's only going to be 2 little spots that we leave, I think, without colouring them in, because this is a total silhouette. And I'm just going around the edges of everything that's been coloured, everything that's been stamped. I just have to be a little bit careful here. And using this marker, you can still see some of the lines through the black parts that you've coloured. I'm just doing wispies on the tail here. There. Now I'm not going to colour this piece in, and I'm not going to colour this piece, so I want to get around those pieces first. Black markers, well, any markers, you get 2 in a set, and I think they're just a little more than $12 now, but really nice. You can do so much with them. Usually you would colour with your lighter marker first and then colour with the dark, and you know, you blend them in together. That's how they get the name blends. But for this, I'm just doing straight black and just colouring the whole thing, because I just want it to be a silhouette. You see, this is where I have to keep turning my card. I don't know what it is with me. I can't colour if I can't see my lines, you know. Almost done. Two little legs. And this is it. There. So that's it there. Done. Put the marker away. Don't mess with it. Just let it sit. Let it be. But when I said the ink soaks through, you see this is what happens on the back of your card. Okay, so there's the front of my card. So let's put this card together. So let's have a look. We've got just a basic card, 8.5, 5.5. We have this for the inside, and we're just going to pop it all together right now. This has got about 1/8 of an inch around. You see how nicely the misty moonlight in the paper itself is picked up nicely on the background. That works nice. There. There. Got this for the inside. There. This is going on the front. Make sure it's going the right way. There. We've got an envelope to decorate again. You could either decorate the envelope with this, or on this one you could put a strip across the bottom if you wanted to. I'm just going to decorate the envelope again. Whoops. Adhesive on here. Got a gob at that end. That's okay. Trays going this way. Mine ended up on the seam of the envelope. There. Make sure I've got some right out to the side, some paper. Trim it off. And just look at that. Let me fold that. Yeah, that needs to push down a little bit. It was just a little too tight. It was hanging over the edge of the seam is what it was doing. There we go. Put that out of the way. Envelope again. Lovely. This is one card. And this is the other card. So there you have them, 2 beautiful cards. As always, these are my own designs. If you want to copy and share, go right ahead. I'd be more than happy to let you do so. Have a great week, everybody, and if you sell your cards, remember to use the Stampin' Up Angel stamp, which just says all the supplies used are Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week. Bye.